Dhatus are the very important concept. I said in my one of the introduction that, for example, take about skin. Many times when to improve our skin, we try to apply something locally. But according to Ayurveda, a good skin is like a good cream you get about with the good milk. So milk is responsible for good cream. So same thing, a good dhatu, a Rasa dhatu is responsible for good complexion of skin. Only applying some external application is not going to bring a good quality of skin. Second, Ayurveda is the only science which has given tremendous importance of malas. For example, in definition of a healthy person, one of the parameter is the malakriyaha. Even same thing you feel. I feel tremendous pleasure, tremendous feeling of good well-being when I do a good sweating. So that is the beauty. And many times sweating gives you a feeling of happiness. And that is said, malakriyaha is one of the concept of the good health. So friends, today we are very happy to have Dr. Mrudula with us. I have a pleasure to give her introduction, Dr. Mrudula Nutan Singh Rajput. She is a hardcore Ayurvedic practitioner. She did her graduation from the Podar Ayurvedic Medical College and post-graduation, that is MD in Kai Chikitsa, that is the internal medicine according to Ayurveda from KGMP Ayurvedic College, Mumbai. A very nice combination of post-graduation in Ayurveda and also a good scholar of Sanskrit. She also did a MA in Sanskrit from Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapit Pune, and a unique combination of German certificate course in German language. So this is Dr. Mrudula and Rajput. She is the practitioner at Sri Vishwamai Ayurvedic Clinic and Panchkarma Center at Virar, and practicing as a Ayurveda consultant at Niramal Health Clinic, Virar. So Dr. Mrudula, welcome. Thank you for sparing your valuable time and giving insight about the concept of Ayurvedic concept of dhatus and mala. Please go ahead. Now it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the brief intro. Thank you very much. Shri Dhanvantaraya Namaha, Shri Gurve Namaha. Good evening, all. Welcome to the 5th lecture of this series. Sir, may I share my screen? Sir, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, visible.
Hope I am audible too.
Yeah, you are audible also.
Good evening, all, once again. Welcome to the 5th lecture of this series, and I am really feeling very grateful and happy for being a part of this series. I would say sharing this platform with all these dignitaries today. Many thanks to organizers, Mumbai Vaidya Sabha, Prana Yoga Therapy Center, and my guru, Dr. Vinayak Taide Sarji. Thank you for this opportunity to share my thoughts with you all. See, my today's topic is the concept of Dhatu and Mala. In Ayurveda, all body constituents, like Sir just now said, are grouped in 3 principal categories, namely Dosh, Dhatu, Mal. As Sir said, these are the basic or the pillars of the body, we can say. We have already learned about Dosh in last to last lecture. Dr. Taide sir has already taught us that. Today we will discuss Dhatu and Mala. As we all know, this is an introductory lecture for you all, and we have just an hour. We will talk more about Prakruti, or we can say normal physiology, than the Vikruti or illness. Okay. Moving to next slide. Yeah. Why is it necessary to know the physiology in detail? Being a yoga student and teacher at the same time, I must say that every teacher is a student lifelong. So don't mind if I say student as well as teacher at the same time. You all know that yoga is not just about poses and postures. It's beautiful, wonderful journey within, from yam towards samadhi, from sthula to sukshma, from this chaos or mess to peace. Yoga is all about achieving peace and harmony within. The state of extreme happiness is yoga. But we all know that mind is like a naughty child. The more you try to make him sit at one place, more he'll wander, more he'll run away. Also, many of us might have experienced some backache or ankle pain, sometimes cramp or sort of tingling sensation while sitting for long for, say, a meditation. So we all know that these physical ailments or illness may add more distractions to the state of mind. So it is important to study the basic physiology before the Vikruti. My point is, this, as you see in this slide, this chitta vritti nirodh, that is control over mind, and karmasu kushalta ya kaushalya, that is perfection and mindfulness, and samatva, that is the balanced state of mind, can be well achieved if our healthy body and healthy mind both coordinates and cooperates each other. And thus the knowledge of Prakruti Vikruti is important. Moving to next slide. Yeah, we all know that yoga is described as samatvam yoga uchyate. Just like yoga, Ayurveda also highlights the balanced state, the state of balance. The main objective of Ayurveda is Dhatu Samya. Here the word Dhatu describes or stands for all three, not just Dhatu. It signifies Dhatu, Dosh, Dhatu as well as Mal. The harmony or equilibrium of all these three maintains health, whereas the disturbed or deranged state or disbalance may give rise to illness. We all know that Ayurveda promotes preventive aspect first, and then it talks about curative one. So we have already seen this in previous lectures, so I won't repeat it. Moving towards next slide. This thing also we have seen, talking about Ayurvedic physiology. Dosh Dhat, I will just summarize in short for this. Dosh, Dhatu, Mal are the strong pillar of life to support and nurture life. The definition of Swasthya or healthy person, we have all heard it many times in previous lectures, so I won't repeat it again, but would like to emphasize on the word sama again, the balanced state or the equilibrium. When we talk about any work, any profession, any science, may that be yoga or may that be Ayurveda, Arogya has to be, or I must say, Arogya is the most important and only resource to achieve anything in life. And thus, health has to be the utmost priority of us among all. That's why Ayurveda says, Sarvam Anyam Parityajya Shariram Anupalayat. We all must keep in mind these facts. I would like to highlight this. Moving towards, Ayurveda explains many factors that alter the state of equilibrium, which we will study after 15th of October, as Sir said, in the main course. But this is just the brief about how can we stay away from illness. Ayurveda beautifully explains the rules about our food intake, our behavior, our thinking pattern, our daily routine which has to be followed, then the routine as per seasonal changes or variations, then many do's and don'ts, even about mental health. So these things help us to maintain this balance. Ayurveda has unique concept about digestion or metabolism, I must say. Before I start the main topic of Dhatu and Mala, I would like to quickly summarize this concept of metabolism in Ayurveda. Dhatu, what are dhatus? Dhatus are basically the structurally and functionally similar cells or units which can be compared with tissue system. So where do they come from? So Dosha, Dhatu, Mala, Moolam, Hi Shariram. Ayurveda says ki, these three are the base of the body. They doesn't come from anywhere. They are already there in the body since birth. They are developed during the intrauterine life. They are formed, or I must say, they form the body constitution, and that is unique for every individual. When we eat food, it gets digested with the help of Agni, which can be compared with or called as digestive or metabolic fire. Namely, as you see in this screen, Jatragni, 1 Jatragni, 5 Bhutagni, and 7 Dhatvagni. It goes through different stages of digestions, and where Sarakitta Vibhajan takes place. And now, what is Sarakitta Vibhajan? The essence or creamy nutritious part from the pre-digested food gets separated, or we can say sorted from the impurities or waste. This essence part enters the circulation, providing nourishment to all the all the dosh, dhatu, and mal as well. And the bio waste or excreta gets stored for a certain time before elimination. As sir said before, that even mala or the bio waste also has some functions to do in the body. We'll talk about that later. So let's talk about dhatu first. The definition says dharana dhatava. The definition itself explains their importance and the function. Of course, they support and maintain the body matrix. They provide nourishment. They are anatomical and physiological base structure of the body. They coordinate the functions of sharir, mana, and prana, and they are responsible for the metabolism of the body. There are 7 dhatus described in Ayurveda, namely Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Med, Asti, Majja, and Shukra. And the last one, which is written at the bottom, Oja, it is said to be the most creamy, nutritious, or we can say premium part or essence of all these 7 dhatus, which is responsible for sustaining our life, the vitality. Their Panchamahabhautik composition we have already studied yesterday, but I'll say in short. Rasa is made up of Jala Mahabhut, Rakta from Agni Mahabhut, Mamsa from Prithvi, Meda is of Jala and Prithvi Mahabhut, Asti is Prithvi and Vayu Mahabhutatmak, Majja is again Jala dominant, and Shukra is Jala. Yesterday, sir has already explained that Sarvam Dravyam Pancha Bhautikam. Each of the dhatu is also made up of all 5 Mahabhut, Pancha Mahabhut, but the dominance is the way it is explained or described in this slide. If we correlate these dhatu, Rasa dhatu can be compared with the plasma in the blood, not exactly blood, but the fluid in the blood. Lymph we can count into Ras, intravascular fluids, cellular fluids, these come under the term Rasa dhatu. We cannot translate these terms directly, but we can correlate them with these structures or compositions. Yeah, Rakta dhatu can be compared with blood cells, can be said RBCs. Then Mamsa dhatu can be compared with the structures which are similar to muscular tissues or general connective parenchymal and stromal tissues. Meda dhatu is all about lipids and adipose tissues. Asti dhatu cannot directly be compared with bone. Of course, bones are asti dhatu, made up from asti dhatu, but all the tissues that are harder and those resist easy degradation can be considered or included into Asti Dhatu as well. Then coming to Majja Dhatu, it's not just bone marrow, but all the nervous tissues, including brain, can be counted under this Majja Dhatu or tissue system. Coming to the last Dhatu, Shukra, this includes all reproductive tissues and hormones as well. Looking at the functions of these dhatus, Rasa is responsible for, Ayurveda says, Prinanam. Prinan means nourishment. It gives nourishment to the all other structures of the body. Also, it provides tushti or contentment, we can say. Rakta is, of course, Raktam Jiva Iti Sthiti. Ayurveda says Rakta is responsible for sustaining life. So, Rakta is very important for survival. It also reflects the glow and the luster of the body, or complexion is because of Rakta Dhatu, Varna Prasadan. We will come to this when we'll talk about Sarata. Coming to next Dhatu, Maunsa. Maunsa is something which coats or cover. Lepana. Lepana is the function of Maunsa Dhatu. It covers the internal organs, body structures, and it provides nourishment to all of them too. So all that covers the inner ashay, or we can say internal organs, is also included into this Maunsa Dhatu, not just muscle tissues. Coming to next, Meda Dhatu, it provides lubrication and it is the factor responsible for strength of the body as well. Asti Dhatu works as mechanical support or strength to the body. Majja fills up the bones, the long bones especially. It is also responsible for affection or the strength of the body as well. This affection, see, Shukra is also responsible for love or affection, and Majja as well. But I must tell you or mention this, that Majja affection is sort of, Majja Priti is, we can say, when a mother feels love about his kid or child, is related to Majja Priti. And whereas Shukra Priti is the love or affection towards your partner. So the part of or the feeling of affection changes when it comes to Majja to Shukra. Shukra Dhatu is responsible, Garbhodpadascha Shukranam. Shukra Dhatu is responsible for Garbha Utpatti. That means giving birth or union of sperm and ovum to reproduce. But apart from reproduction, we must keep in mind that Shukra is not just sperm or ovum or the secretions of sexual hormones, but it is also responsible of new creation. Navanirman is also because of Shukra Dhatu. So though the cell division part is regulated or dominated by Vata Dosha, the every new cell formation or formation of every new thing is because of Shukra, as the Shukra is supposed to be the Dhatu which lies in the whole body, not just at the reproductive system. Even it is responsible for courage and happiness. I hope I'm not going too fast. Actually, I want to cover many points. So just introductory, I can say again. Okay. Even I forgot to tell you this. These dhatu, when they are in increased or decreased state or vitiated because of the dosha, they may lead to certain group of symptoms. Ayurveda has explained the cause of the vitiation or deranged state of these dhatu, as well as the symptoms arise from that state. So let's take an example. When your rasa dhatu is decreased or vitiated, you may feel fatigue, lethargy, or you may feel thirsty as well. Also, decreased rasa rakta is reflected on the skin, the pallor, as we see in the patients of anemia. So there are many things we can go through when the main course starts about the deranged or disturbed state of these dhatus. Now let's move to the theories about the nourishment of these dhatu. We also call it as Dhatu Poshan Nyay, and can be correlated with micronutrition and circulation. These are some factors we must keep in mind while studying Dhatu Poshan Nyay. First of all, role of Agni. I hope everyone is a bit, aware of what Agni is and the three types which I already discussed. Then origin of the dhatu. Though the dhatu is formed or developed in intrauterine life, the srotas or the channels which are responsible for their circulation in body, they have a particular origin. Then the nourishment of the dhatu, then circulation through those channels in the body and their site. These points are important to consider while learning these Dhatu Poshan Nyay. There are different theories are put forward in Ayurveda about this micro circulation, namely Kedar Kulya Nyay. This says about transportation. Second one is Kshirdadi Nyay, that says about transformation. Khale Kapot is a selective process, and Ekakala Nyay, that is spontaneous nourishment. Just have a look at this. I will summarize, or I must say we will have just a look at it to understand what these Nyay tell about, so that we can understand this process in short. See, the Kedar Kulya Nyay says that it's like a big reservoir of water which supplies or distributes water to different patches of field through this canal. So it is assumed that Ahar Ras or pre-digested food also takes nutrients for dhatus in a particular order from Rasa to Shukra, one by one. So where a respective Dhatvagni works on it for further conversation to get that Rasa, Rakta and so on. This is Kedar Kulya Nyay. Coming to Kshiradadi Nyay, this talks about transformation. Means conversion from one to another. It's like the way milk is turned into curd, curd into buttermilk, then buttermilk into butter and ghee, and so on. Like that, this ahar ras also gets transformed into ras with the help of course, rasagni, rasa dhatvagni, we can say. Then a part of rasa is then converted into rakta with the help of raktagni, and so on. So the creamy part, and so on. So Shukra and Oja are the most precious, nutritious, creamy part of the Ahar Ras, we must say. This is Khale Kapot Nyay. Kapot means pigeons. This Nyay compares Ahar Poshan, or sorry, Dhatu Poshan, with we can say a number of pigeons collecting seeds from a field, where each Dhatu collects its own nutrients or raw material from Ahar Ras. The trick is it collects as per its own requirement and urgency. So that means dhatu which are in decreased state or are in less in quantity gets faster nourishment than others, compared to others. And last, sorry, it's not there, but last Ekakala Nyay explains spontaneous nourishment. Certain food or medicine directly nourishes certain dhatus. Let's say, for example, milk, as sir has already said, I guess. Milk nourishes Rasa Dhatu and Shukra Dhatu. Then date, dry date, meat, mash, or what we call black lentils, these nourishes Mamsa Dhatu directly. So this is as per requirement, it is because of the action of those food or medicine, we can say. Yeah, coming to the circulation of these dhatu, and we must go through the srotas. Srotas is also a beautiful and unique concept of Ayurveda. Srotas means channels, but these are not visible channels, we can say. But this is like not like pipe or tap, but something like spongy thin layer which can absorb something and which can even squeeze out something. So through these tiny channels, the metabolism or circulation of these tissues takes place. Srotas means macro and micro channels of tissue metabolism in short. So these are the main sites or origin of these particular dhatus. Rasa Vah Srotas has Moolasthana or root as heart and blood vessels. Rakta has liver and spleen. That means they are mainly stored and then circulated from these main sites. Rakta for Rakta, liver and spleen. For Mamsa, tendons, ligaments and skin. For Meda, kidneys and omentum. For Asti, adipose tissues and bones. For Majja, bones and joints is said. And for Shukra, again, the reproductive system. See, till now, we have seen what dhatus are, what do they do, where do they come from, and their balanced physiological state maintains health. This is also an interesting point. This is all Prakruti we are talking about now. Ayurveda explains Dhatu Saarata, that is dhatu, each dhatu being at its best or premium state, quality wise as well as quantity wise. This is called Saarata, Dhatu Saarata. This Saarata shows some distinct features which help us to evaluate the strength of the body, our health and immunity too. It is said in Ayurveda that this Saarata Parikshan is for Balamana Vishesha Jnanartha. That means to evaluate the strength, health and immunity, we can say. This is all about Saarata. We'll see in next slide in detail. But if we talk about Vikruti, this can be quantity wise, quality wise or functionality wise, increased, decreased or vitiated state of the dhatu. See, dravyata, gunata, karmata, disproportion of them leads to Vikruti, of course, or illness. There are different diseases that are discussed in Ayurveda as per involvement of the dhatu. And there are more than one dhatu can get involved in a single disease. Let's take an example of anemia or Pandu itself. See, there are Rasa and Rakta, both dhatu are compromised state in anemia. And in many skin diseases and diseases like piles, Rakta and Mamsa, these two dhatus are vitiated or in deranged state, we can say. In some abnormal growths like tumors, then thyroid disorders and so on, in these conditions, Mamsa dhatu is affected. Even sometimes Made is also affected. And in carcinoma or uncontrolled division of cells, cancerous patients, Shukra Vikruti has to be there. So again, we won't go into details of Vikruti, but just to mention how it works when we study dhatu. Let's focus on Prakruti first. The premium state of dhatu reflects on many factors. I have just mentioned few of them just to give a rough idea about our tissue system's health. It reflects on our skin. That can be skin texture, can be skin tone, complexion, the glow, many things related to skin. We can come to know which dhatu is at optimum state or premium state, I mean Sar, and which is on Asar side. So skin, then comes body hair, body structure itself, nails and teeth, joints and bones, height, our speech, the way we talk, the Vani or Swar we say. So some Dhatu Saarata signifies the difference in the tone, pitch and pronunciation. Even strength can be evaluated from this Dhatu Saarata. The stamina of the body, the stability, even fertility. Then our Buddhi Smriti, that is intelligence, memory, Then comes emotions. Even mental factors are counted while evaluating this Dhatu Saarata. As we all know that even in yoga and in Ayurveda, Sharir is always with man. Man sahit Sharir is counted while we talk about body. It's not just body. They both go in hand. And also the condition or any deranged or illness of body can affect mind and vice versa. So everywhere you can see that mental factor is always there. May that be causes of the diseases, may that be sign and symptoms, and may that be treatment as well. There are treatment things related to treatment which involves emotions or mind factors. Let's move to next. Integrity and tolerance can also be evaluated from this Dhatu Saarata. Just take a glance at this pic because I couldn't type all those things and I didn't want you to get confused more. But again, considering the time limit, I want you to see the highlighted part mainly, the underlined one and the words in the boxes. You can observe that very healthy, lustrous skin with glow in people with Rasa Sar. Rasa Sar people Rakta Sar people are known to be very highly sensitive, having very highly sensitive skin. They becomes easily pink or red when exposed to sunlight. I hope you all remember Karishma Kapoor from 80s or 90s movies. Of course, without any makeup or cosmetics. During those days, she was an example of Rasa Rakta Sar, I guess. Don't know about now, but Raktasar people are also, we can say, delicate darlings. They cannot tolerate any extreme conditions. May that be heat, may that be cold, or may that be exertion. Coming to mounts, I'm just summarizing this. You can save this for future reference, but I want to highlight few things about Bala, Varna, and Swara. So talking about Mounsasar people, they have muscular build and bulky joints. Whereas Medasar people are like, they have body structure a bit flappy, or we can say not must be built up like thing. They have melodious voice. Yeah, Medasar people have melodious voice like singers do. Then Astisar are very tall. Say an example of Mr. Amitabh ji. Astisar people also have highest degree of tolerance. Klesha Saha, it is mentioned here. They can tolerate anything, may that be physical extreme or mental extreme. They go through it very well. Even among your students, you might have observed that some are impatient, some are not, some need constant motivation and some need not. Even some types of pranayam and some yogic kriya are not advisable to all. And thus the basic of physiology is must to learn, I feel. I'm moving to next slide. Before moving to Mala, let's quickly have a look at micro or tissue metabolism again. See, now here, each dhatu has its own Agni. The earlier dhatu gets converted into its own prasad roop dhatu. I mean, from ahar ras to rasa dhatu. So here rasa dhatvagni works on ahar ras, giving prasad roop rasa dhatu first. Then poshak ansha means nutritious part for next dhatu. Then comes upadhatu and dhatumal, which we'll discuss later. Upadhatu, we can say secondary tissue or subsidiary tissues, and dhatumal again micro bio waste, we can say. So every time rasa, ahar ras to rasa, rasa to rakta, rakta to mansa, everywhere you get these poshakaunsh of next dhatu, upadhatu and dhatumal. So this is a brief about upadhatu and mal for each of dhatu. Rasa dhatu has artav or raja, that is the monthly menstruation, as Upadhatu, then Stanya, that means breast milk after the delivery, then Kapha as Mala, Roop, then Rakta Dhatu has Kandarasira as Upadhatu and Pitta as Mala. Then when Mamsa gets digested with Mamsagni, we get Vasa and Tvacha as Upadhatu, whereas Khamal as Malarup, I mean bio-waste. I'm sorry. This Khamal, Kha means Srotas or Akash, or we can say empty space. So wherever empty spaces are there, some secretions we found, we may find like earwax or some secretions at the inner canthus of the eye, nasal mucus, etc. So these all are Mamsa Dhatus Mala, and this gives idea what is going on with all these Mala, and Upadhatu gives a brief idea about the condition of the Dhatu itself. So that's why it is important to learn this. Meda Dhatu has Snayu and Sandhi as its Upadhatu, and Sweda is its Mala Roop. Then Asti Dhatu and Majja Dhatu doesn't have Upadhatu, but Kesha, that means hair, Nakha, nail, Loma means body hair, and Shmashru, that means mustache and beard, can be considered as Malaroop of Asti Dhatu. Majja Dhatu has Sneha, means the secretions which provides lubrication. So in eyes, in fecal matter, and in skin, whatever lubrication is there, a part of Sneha is because of this Majja Dhatu's proper normal digestion. And then comes Shukra. It doesn't have Mala because Shukra itself is a very premium or essence form of the all Dhatus, and it gives rise to Garbha and Ojas, but they are not the Upadhatu of Shukra. I have just mentioned it because Shukra is responsible for Garbhodpatti and Oja Nirmiti. See, again, I must mention again that in any disease involving Upadhatu and Mala, always think about respective Dhatu and its Agni. For example, in many menstrual disorders, Rasa Dhatu is also involved or affected along with Raja or Artav. Even if we talk about hair issues or problems, we need not to jump directly to Asti, because Asti, they are the Malaroop of Asti, but along with Asti, Rasa, Rakta, and even Majja might be involved, because the luster of the hair is because of Rasa Dhatu, the strength of the hair is because of the Asti Dhatu, and the hair root gets nourishment from Rakta Dhatu. So at a time, each organ or part of the body has some or the other relation with all these Dhatu. So we must keep in mind this. Even some cases of infertilities, one must think about Rasa as well, along with Shukra Dhatu. Coming to the last part of the session, Mala. Mala means bio-waste or excreta or impurities of the body. We talked about this when we discussed metabolism. Like Anna getting digested and Sara Kitta Vibhajan. The Sar part is all those tissue system, and Kitta means the Mala, impurities or excreta. So though the name symbolizes with waste, it is not actual waste, because it has some functions to do in the body before getting eliminated from the body. First of all, it cleanses the body. Its proper formation and elimination on time is must to maintain the optimal health. Yeah, and also regarding this, I just remember the topic, holding or curbing natural urges. In Mala, we can say Purusha, Mutra, and Adhovata. That means stool, urination, or the fart or the gases. The holding or curbing of these natural urges may lead to many consequences. Ayurveda explains Roge sarvepi jayante vego dirana dharane. That means vega dharan, holding the urge, or udiran. That means forcefully or forcefully stimulating those urges are said to be an important cause of many of the diseases. So thus we must keep in mind that though they are mala, they should not be forcefully evacuated or eliminated from the body. The proper sensation has to be there before elimination. So these are the three main mala, biological or metabolical waste, we must say. Stula mala is a primary mala, we can say. Purisha, that is fecal matter. Mutra means urine, and Sweta means Sweda. And Sukshma mala are secondary biological waste, we can say. The Dhatu malas we have already seen or discussed, and Kled. The Kled, we can say, is also a dhatumal which provides lubrication during this metabolism, and later on when in excess it is excreted through urine only. Mutrasya kledavahanam, Ayurveda says. Even mala have the microcirculatory channels or srotas for them. The sites or the origin of these mala are for Purish, large intestine and rectum. For Mutra, it's urinary bladder, and for Sweda, adipose tissues and hair follicle. And last but not the least, this is the relationship between ashray and ashray. That is dosh, which resides or stays in Dushya. Dushyas are Dhatu and Mala because they get vitiated because of the dosh. That's why they are called Dushya. So this Vat resides or stays in Asti Dhatu, Pitta in Rakta and Swed, and Kapha in rest all. That is Rasa, Maunsa, Meda, Majja, Shukra, Purish, and Mutra. Of course, these doshas have their own side. They circulates in whole body, but these are their location when we talk about Dhatu and Mala. Hope I have covered all the necessary points to understand the basic physiology of Dhatu and Mala. What we see or learn is just a tip of an iceberg. The more we dive in, the more we discover. So let's all be curious like kids to dig in and learn more. May Lord Dhanvantari bless us all with healthy, happy life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mrudula, for a wonderful insight. I request participants if they have any question. Anyone want to ask anything?
Dr.
Okay.
Mrudula.
Huh.
Dr. Mrudula, I have one question. In fact,
Yes,
I
sir.
have joined late. So, in normal state, what is the importance of this mala for your health?
Sorry, sir, I didn't hear you properly. Normal state?
When person is having everything normal, as we say that some dosha, some agnesha, some dhatu mala, this is defined for healthy person. So I'm just asking particularly for this mala because you elaborated in a good way. Everything you have covered. So person who is healthy and mala are healthy, then what is the importance of this healthiness of mala?
Yeah, actually I skipped that slide, or maybe I have not put that.
No, in fact, I have joined late. You may have covered, but just wanted.
No, Mala part is like, because of time limit, I might have just skipped that part, that all three main Mala have their function or property. Avashtambha Purishasya, Mutrasya Kleda Vahana, and Swedasya Kleda Vidruti or Kesha Vidruti, it is said. Purish provides bal when it is in proper quantity and at proper site and hold or stayed for that particular time. If passed many times. For let's an example, of course you are asking about healthy person, but just take an example of a person who has loose motions. The more time he passes the stool, more fatigue, energy loss he gets, like Rasa Kshinata, we must say, or Bala Hani. And let's talk about constipated person. He's so restless when he doesn't able to pass the motion on time with proper we can say the if stool is hard and he's unable to pass. So both the extreme causes problem with bala itself, because dharan of those mala for a particular time at the particular site for is for purpose, it really gives strength or bala to the body. If evacuated earlier or later may affect the metabolism, that's why. And again with the urine, it is said to be the vehicle, not vehicle exactly, but it provides clade to come out, or elimination of clade is because of mutra. So excess of the toxins or jo last mal I said about sukshma mal clade of dhatu, all dhatu have sukshma mal clade. If it is in excess, it may get accumulated in the body, causing shotha or some sort of inflammation, swelling, restlessness, then body stiffness, body heaviness in the body. So all this because of the clade has a bit similar symptoms or signs like ama. So it has to be evacuated from the body on time, in proper way, in a proper quantity or amount. So mutra or urine does that job. So it has to be performed well. I mean, the veg has to be believed and not never to be hold or curbed, we can say. And Sweda is Sweda maintains the health of skin pores, or we can say the root of the hair follicle. The moisture or the skin texture is maintained because of the Sweda.
Yes, thank you very much.
Sir, I feel if I missed something, you can add up.
No, not.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to know about the diseases which can be caused if we hold the mala.
Ask purpose just to get, that is the thing.
Actually, Ayurveda talks about 13 different vegas, which when hold for longer can give rise to number of diseases. It is difficult to talk about just one, and it will take again one lecture only talking about this Vega Dharan and Vega Udiran.
Ma'am, I'm just asking about the mutra and the fecal part, ma'am. Just.
Yes. So we thank you, Dr. Mrudula. Rest we can cover in our main course. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Priyanka, hello.
Yes, sir.
See, and Ayurveda says anything goes against the nature creates a harmful effect.
Okay.
So, for example, I tell you, the women have the habit of holding the urine.
Exactly, sir.
And that is why women are prone to suffer from recurrent urinary tract infections.
Okay.
Huh?
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
So that is why UTI, urinary infections, are very common in women, because they, because of the situation, because of the place, they develop this habit.
Yes, sir.
So we have another, as Dr. Mrudula said, we have another lecture only on this Dharni and Adharni Veg. It is a very interesting concept. So one full lecture is devoted only to this subject. So you will get more insight about it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I have a question, Dr. Mrudula. To
Yes,
improve
sir.
over dhatus for a layman, what principle he should follow? So जिससे कि उसके धातु का जो पुष्टि होती है वो कैसे हो?
See, as I have okay, sorry, continue, sir. Complete your question. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, please go ahead.
As we have seen in that earlier slide, that we will talk about it later about dinacharya, rutucharya and achar rasa. And these are for all dosha, dhatu as well as mala. to maintain their optimal state as well as the equilibrium. But as you asked for dhatu specifically, so there are certain food items and medicines as well for nourishing those dhatu. We call them rasayan chikitsa. So very commonly known is chavanprash. It is a rasayan which gives nourishment from Rasa till Shukra. And there are some rasayan which works only on a particular dhatu as well. So let's say, for example, I said about Maunsa dhatu and Rakta dhatu. Date can be used as Poshan, nourishment for Maunsa dhatu. Then the black resins, beetroot and all these foods are for Rakta dhatu. Even Rakta itself increases deficiency of Rakta. We call it as Samanya Vishesh Siddhanta in Ayurveda. The similar things increases similar functions or structures in the body. Many a times it is advised in Ayurveda. I must not mention it here, but Rakta Basti is advised in patients with severe anemia. Even Maunsa Sevan, that means taking meat as a food, gives nourishment to Maunsa dhatu directly. Then there are Pravar and Moti, that is coral and pearl. They are analogous to Asti dhatu. So when there is a deficiency of Asti dhatu in body, not just bone, nail or hair, but the strength or the hardness in body structures, that can be improved with these coral, and not directly, but of course in medicinal form, coral and pearl gives good result for such cases. So there are rasayan for a particular dhatu. Shall I discuss everything here? It's just a brief idea that rasayan chikitsa is must.
You already said the Ayurvedic superfood is chavanprash. That is the concept of beautiful concept of rasayan Ayurvedic give.
Yes, but of course there are do's and don'ts for every
Yes,
rasayan.
yes.
Not everyone
Correct,
can.
correct.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So friends, thank you, Dr. Mrudula. Thanks a lot for a beautiful explanation of the dhatus and malas. Friends, we will close here. Tomorrow is a very interesting topic of Ayurvedic ahar. That is Dr. Anju Chetia is going to talk about the concept of, we have a Yuktahar concept that is coming from Bhagavad Gita, Mitahar concept that is coming from Hatiyok Pradipika, and Patyahar, that is the concept coming from Ayurveda. So tomorrow's session is on ahar, this thing, the importance of good food. So please join us tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock. And those who are interested to know more about this Ayurveda certification course, which we are starting with Mumbai Vaidya Sabha and Pranayog Therapy Center, feel free to contact Arita and Saurabh. Arita and Saurabh's numbers are there in the chat box, so you can do. Yes, those who are interested to have the recording of the sessions, we will give you recording. So that details also you can give it to Arita and Saurabh. After all the sessions are over, we will then compile all the recordings together and send you. So again, for recording also, you can contact Arita and Saurabh. Okay. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow evening at the same time. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat. Good night, everyone.